Hey guys, welcome to another video. 46 here. This is the second part to the video with his dog whistling and hummus instead of peanut butter. This is the take 3, guys. This is take 3, guys. So we're just gonna do this right now. Okay.
Poppy and Raffle Ticket run a podcast together called Arab's Podcast. During TwitchCon, Frogan and her friends held a live podcast with Denims and Vio as guests. During this panel, they did a tier list. The YouTube video for this event on their channel is titled, How Arab Are These Twitch Streamers? In this tier list, they put Arab at the very top, and they put Love Sabra at the very bottom. Guess who Frogan just can't resist putting on this list?
The next person is one of my favorite people, Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
Much like other times, Frogan brought up Ethan all on her own here, knowing that the two of them are still not on good terms. She knows what's happened in the past when she's brought him up, and she's complained very vocally about it. You can't take shots at someone and cry out when they hit back. But of course, Frogan does this every single time. Already from the get-go, we see another strike against this panel, when Denims immediately jokes about them forgetting the Zionist category on the list.
Dude, where's the, you guys are missing a category for Zionists. That was a joke. That was
What does that mean?
just a joke.
Was it really a joke though? Given that you all fell out with Ethan over that particular subject? Any guess where on the list Zionists would go? The Zionist comment obviously raises eyebrows, but even the tier list alone is bigoted. Arabs are at the top of the list, and people who enjoy Sabra hummus are at the bottom. Now stick with me while I explain this. What's the most distinguishing feature of Sabra hummus? That it's an Israeli brand. And the panelists don't hide that this influences them, as if to say that Israeli hummus is inherently inauthentic because Israelis are somehow not indigenous to the land. The Mizrahi are descendants of approximately 1.5 million Jews who lived in North Africa and the Middle East. Their
What am I watching, guys? What am I watching, chat?
ancestors did not previously reside in Europe. Over 50% of Israel's current Jewish population is of at least partial Mizrahi descent. That means the majority of Israelis today are non-white and have origins from the Middle East. Let's listen to our friend Lonerbox explain the Sabra hummus stigma.
Within leftist discourse, particularly North American leftist discourse, is the idea that Sabra hummus, this mass-produced Israeli hummus in North America, is bad hummus. And the reason that they'll say it's bad is because it's Israeli. The idea is that Israelis...
Man, just because it's Israeli, man. Bro, just because it's Israeli, bro. I know... Maybe the Israel government is bad because they're nuking Palestine, but seriously, Israeli people, they've been through a lot.
Are not indigenous to the region, they're white European colonizers, etc., etc. They came to the Middle East and they saw Arabs eating hummus, and then they said, "Oh, how quaint! The chickpeas! It's like they've chewed it up for me. It's like stoner food." So they like that, and then they grab the machine. And they kill all the Arabs, and they steal the chickpeas and the tahini, and they throw it into a cement mixer and produce some mass-produced trash for white people who don't know any better, okay? This is bullshit, okay? The fact is that brand hummus is never going to be as good as what you would get in a hummus place in the Middle East or in a restaurant or homemade, because it's like any other food. That's usually the case, right? So Sabra hummus is about as good as any other mass-produced hummus.
So Lonerbox makes a great point here, saying that one mass-produced hummus is somehow worse than any other solely because it's Israeli is problematic. There's another issue with the tier list that is much harder to pin down though. Ethan Klein and others have brought it up. The definition of Sabra. The nature of dog whistles is that they're much harder to prove, and they can often make the person complaining about them seem like a crazy person. A Sabra is a term for any Jewish person born in Israel. About 80% of Israel's Jewish population are Sabras. The lowest tier on the tier list is love Sabra. Essentially, they're calling people in that category lovers of Jewish people in a derogatory way. Now, I could
Sabra, I mean, I meant like Serbians or something. That's terrible, man. Like, seriously, man, that's racist. That's terrible, man.
have sworn I was hearing similar language out of the dissident right. Are we sure these guys aren't in that group? I think this point in general is a harder one to nail home because there are plenty of people who don't know what the word Sabra means. But from this crowd, I'm not so sure.
Guys from Monkey.
This crowd claims to know so much about the conflict and the culture. It's very reasonable that Ethan would be suspicious of this. Adding all of that together, there's one last point. If this was really so innocent and about having the Habibi pass,
Bro, what?
why was the YouTube title How Arab Are These Twitch Streamers? And why is Ben Shapiro, another Jewish man, in the exact same category as Ethan when he wasn't even brought up in the original video? Besides being Jewish, the only similarity between Ben Shapiro and Ethan Klein is that they are both married to Jewish Israeli women. So, we've got the combination of Ethan being brought up despite not being a Twitch streamer, people booing Ethan the moment he's brought up.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one. That's good. All right.
Denims
Ah, bro.
joking about a Zionist category.
Dude, where's the, you guys are missing a category for Zionist. That was a joke. That was just a joke.
And the lowest tier on the list being designated to people who enjoy Israeli hummus.
Ethan.
Also, the fact that Ben Shapiro and Ethan Klein were both included in the same category on the thumbnail, despite the only similarity being both of them having Israeli Jewish wives. Coincidence? If you need further proof that there should be no doubt about her anti-Semitism, here are some of Frogan's Twitter likes, post October 7th.
Remember that Israel has admitted to harvesting skin and organs from dead Palestinians to use for skin grafts and organ transplants, and the majority of skin in Israeli skin banks was stolen from the Palestinians they killed.
This is just straight up anti-Semitism. It is quite literally blood libel.
White people see Arab
Hold up. Can't see.
Arabic words and go, OMG, terrorists, like a stupid villager in the 17th century accusing women of witchcraft.
So Frogan is so educated on this, but doesn't recognize that this is the flag used to represent the Al-Qassam brigades.
People on Twitter will suck the toes of Ukraine, but draw the line at Palestine.
I wouldn't go as far as to call them people.
It's no exaggeration to say Gaza has broken out of its prison and is launching a war of liberation. It looks like resistance on an unprecedented scale, actively retaking Palestinian land.
Justifying violence on civilians by calling it resistance.
They made up the deranged lie about 40 beheaded babies because they knew they were gonna behead
Wait, do I have to censor that?
hundreds of babies and we would see footage of it.
Everything Israel said was a proven lie. No beheaded babies, no women, no
I'm glad they
Hamas attack on concert, no Hamas misfire on hospital. They made it all up, just like America did with the weapons of mass destruction they never found. If you support Israel, you're a murderous villain. My disgust for what the Israeli government is doing does not equal support for Hamas or anti-Semitism. If you think that, it is not only are you a murderous villain, you're also a bad faith moron.
Why is this sound like something Phineas and Ferb, bro.
Reminder, Hamas offered to release all its hostages on October 8th in exchange for Israel releasing all of its Palestinian hostages. Israel and the U.S. refused. They wanted to annihilate Gaza to seize its natural gas reserves.
Gas reserves?
If you're a Western liberal shocked and outraged by images of fascist Israeli troops being harmed, I have one quick trick to help you. Just imagine they're Russian troops and remember how you celebrated and gleefully shared and reposted images and videos of their deaths.
It's game over for Israel. James Bond is officially fighting for Hamas.
Comparing the actions
Bond. James Bond!
of Hamas to those of James Bond, I would consider that glorifying their actions. Just to recap, what we've just seen are posts that Frogan herself clicked the like button on. A lot of them were glorifying the actions of Hamas, a lot of them were denying the atrocities committed by Hamas, and a lot of them were just straight up anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. I think this very much demonstrates a pattern of behavior from Frogan.
Alright, see you guys. Yes, infinite loop. Alright, infinite loop. Well, I'm gonna see you guys in the part 3. Goodbye.